Welcome to GBIRL, the podcast looking at the real business world of esports, gaming, and streaming with the people and personalities behind it all. Here is your host, Bill the Conqueror.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. As you can see on the screen right there, I'm my friend Nick, and I saw something on Twitter that he put out talking about non-fungible tokens, NFTs. What is an NFT? Well, we're going to get into that, and I'm just going to say this up front. I'm going to be skeptical about it. I'm old enough to have collected baseball cards. Behind these screens that you see me sitting in front of, I have about $5,000 worth of 90s comics that I can probably never get rid of because the market collapsed. I'm old, like I said, I'm old enough to have collected baseball cards. The market was great in the late 80s, early 90s, and then the bottom dropped out of it because everybody and their grandmother was trying to create some kind of a hot baseball card to sell. But here we are with NFTs. Non-fungible tokens built on the blockchain. I do understand blockchain. I do. I understand the concept behind the blockchain and keeping it secure. But okay, I'm sorry, Nick. You're gonna have to convince me on this one, buddy, because I am.
That's why I'm here.
I know. I am just like not. I mean, why would I want to own some? Want to own a digital copy, not the actual clip itself, but a digital copy of a clip of a streamer doing something amazing in Warzone or what. You got to help me on this, but I don't want to get on my soapbox too early. How are you today, Nick? Thanks for joining me today.
I'm doing good. It's Monday. I love Mondays. Mondays are pretty much my day of the week that I kind of get the most done, honestly. It's kind of the opposite of what most people are. Most people wake up Monday and they're dreading the rest of the week, but yeah. I love Mondays. I get after it. I set all my meetings on Monday as much as possible so that I can just work like crazy during the rest of the week. Right. And usually Thursday, Friday is a little bit slower for me, which is good too, because then I can throw in any other meetings or talk to people that I haven't talked to in a long time and just kind of reconnect with people. So it's super good, but I love Mondays. So I'm excited.
Good. And just in case you don't know who Nick is, in the eye above my head right here, I will put the playlist where I interviewed Nick a couple of months ago about his marketing company, Upforce Marketing, where he is working with esports professionals transitioning into the content space. That's a good conversation. Check it out. But Nick, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about NFTs and why I should care. Because, like I said, I grew up with baseball cards. I grew up with basketball cards. I even collected comic book cards. I still have them. Why? I can't get rid of them.
Yeah. They're in an old shoebox that's dusted and has 100 other things on top of it.
Exactly. Huh? I have them on the shelf behind me. Behind these screens is a very dirty closet that's very full of crap that I can't get rid of. All right. Yeah. Okay. So before we get too much in the weeds, why are you doing it? Why are you doing this right now? Why?
Yeah, so pretty much we can kind of cover the last, I guess, start of this year. Upforce was awesome.
Right.
It was on such a high, coming off such a high of the year of 2020 with launching the business. And I had a lot more clients than I expected and a lot more streamers that were interested and really loving every aspect of what we were doing. And I was set for the first in January. I'm like, holy cow, I already have like 6 new clients that want to come on. And that kind of actually dragged out because I at that point, I'm like, okay, I need to relax. Like I need to like not have 20 streamers at the same time when where I first launched. I'm still testing things out, making sure things are good. And so I kind of like put things on hold and I said, okay, we'll take on these guys. That actually ended up taking around 2 to 3 months. Around end of February. I actually got married at the start of February, which is awesome.
Yes, you did. That's right.
And and it was that was great. But that also took my very first break that I took in an entire year. So I took a week and a half off of not talking to anybody. Hired a manager to pretty much do everything, who's awesome. He does like all the day-to-day communication stuff between the streamers and the editors and everything.
Right.
So it's really, really good. And around, I don't know, probably end of February, March time, is when I've actually in the last year or so I've been in meetings pretty much every single week. We talk about with a couple of really higher ups in the esports scene, in business and stuff like that, education, helping charities and the younger generation in rough areas, like try to have a career or try to like educate them on just how to do better and stuff like that. So I'm in these weekly meetings. And pretty much for the last year, it's all been crypto. That's literally all we talked about. We talk about like these forward thinking things. We always talk about like, what's the future going to look like? What is it going to look like in a year, 5 years, stuff like that.
Right.
And like I said, crypto has been such a big part of it. And I have understood crypto. I understand in 2017, there was a huge bubble. Obviously, I got on board too, bought a whole bunch of Ripple, sold it for 4x, and I was like super excited. And then the whole thing crashed.
Right.
I was happy that I sold it, but at the same time, I wish I was smart enough to buy at the dip, but crashed. But I didn't. But yeah, so pretty much that's kind of what our whole conversation is: NFTs, cryptocurrency, stuff like that, where things are trending, and really, it's just been. I've met with a couple people who are really huge in NFTs. When you go down the NFT rabbit hole, you are learning every single day something new for like 300 days in a row. Like there is so much that has to do with NFTs. They're super cool. The blockchain technology, it's super, super cool where things are going. And ultimately, this is where things are going. And whether or not people want to accept it, it's up to them. But I'm somebody who's trying to get ahead of the game early.
Right.
And I like to also be forward thinking. I like to think, okay, like how can I make things easier for people in different aspects, right? And for Upforce, it was the whole content creation aspect where streamers and professional players, they just want to stream. They just want to play.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to take time to edit. They're not going to take time to find a new editor. Like what happens if their editor is sick and they can't, like they really want this awesome game that they just had that was a world record game,
right.
like to be edited today.
Right.
Like so you can't so that's what we do. And that's what I really focus on is like, how can I make things easier? They simply just upload a video. We edit everything for all platforms and we post it for them too. Like they don't have to do anything. Right. So the same thing with NFTs. It's how can we further help streamers make money in a different way that has never been done before for them.
Okay.
And that comes with a lot of challenges, even though it sounds really easy. Let's just make digital collectibles for their fans.
Right.
It's a lot more challenging and different than difficult than just making digital collectibles. But that's in a nutshell of kind of like the background of how I got started and how I got really interested in the whole NFT space.
Okay, so let's just do a quick comparison. An NFT, a non-fungible token, is not the same as the standard crypto coins that you hear about. It's not the same as Bitcoin. It's not the same as Ethereum. It's not the same as Doge. So from your understanding, what is the difference between Bitcoin and an NFT?
So Bitcoin is essentially it's a currency, right? Like it is a place that you could store value in it. Like you could just buy Bitcoin and just store your money in there, kind of like as a passive investment, or even just like instead of putting it in the bank, you just buy Bitcoin, and you expect it to rise over time. Okay. It's the same thing as anything like that. NFTs completely different. Like don't even associate NFTs with like a coin. It's more so just an art. Like just think of it as you're buying an art. You're buying like a sports card. The best way that I describe an NFT to people that have no idea, just like my dad, right? My dad, one day I was like, Dad, I'm starting this company. We're creating NFTs. He's like, whoa, what the heck is an NFT? Right. And I was like, just think of these like baseball cards, like you said. Just think of a baseball card. We're creating digital baseball cards in the sense that like people collect them that they love baseball. They want Babe Ruth's rookie card. Like that. The best baseball player in all time is going to like in the future, someone's going to want that because that's a piece of history. Right. So that's in the sense what we're doing. But we're just making it digital. But now we're not making cards, right? We're not making
Right.
digital cards. We're not making cards with streamers on them, and it's just like their name, and it's like a baseball card. We're not making cards. We're actually capturing the moment of the stream. So, if, say for example, a streamer hits a crazy game-winning shot, like in Warzone, right? They just have like they clutch up 1v3 for $100,000 tournament,
Right.
and they win the tournament off of that moment, that 10-second crazy moment at the end of the game. Now a fan, the biggest fan of Warzone, the biggest fan of the streamer that actually made that shot, like they can own that one moment in time of history and esports history of someone winning that $100,000 tournament. That's going to be talked about for a while, until Call of Duty is done, which I don't think is anytime soon.
Right.
So something like that is something that's super cool to be collected. And imagine you're the person that owns that one moment, and you could say to your friends like, yeah, I own this moment, blah, blah, blah. But it's so much more than that. And we could go down the rabbit hole and talk about a million different things and different ways that NFTs are going to be able to like be showcased and actually have some sort of, I guess, value behind just the actual value of the NFT itself. But like same with cards, Pokemon cards. Why would this card be like $900,000? Not 900,000, 900 or $1,000. I don't own 900,000. Like these Pokemon cards, like they're very very expensive. They're a piece of paper, right? Like they're literally a piece of paper, a piece of cardboard, and of a monster. This is like a cute little monster, right?
Okay.
So why would these things go for thousands and thousands of dollars? And it means nothing to, might mean nothing to you, might mean definitely nothing to my parents. They don't know anything about this.
No.
Like my friends, it doesn't mean anything to anyone other than yourself. And that's kind of what NFTs are, and that's kind of what art is. Like you really, if you really like it, it has sentimental value. You feel like, especially you can relate this in the streaming world more than anything. Like people just want to be noticed. They just want to be I guess noticed like on stream, where if they donate like $100, it's $100 you just gave somebody just to be shown on their stream for 2 seconds. And like, oh, thank you so and so for the donation. That's amazing. Thank you so much. And then that's it. So NFTs in a similar way, it actually further connects the viewer and what the streamer's viewer and the fans with the streamer. On many different levels. Not only are you going to be able to like own their best moments, that money just directly is given to the streamer as well, but also with NFTs, and this is why NFTs are so freaking cool, is that just think of TwitchCon. When TwitchCon comes back around, I don't know if it's going to be this year or next year. You're going to be able to, if you own that like specific NFTs from that streamer, you're going to be able to go and do like a secret meetup at these events. Like how cool would that be? Like you get to party like or hang out with in the streamer's hotel room or in this specific like streamer lounge or something like that, all because you own their NFTs. So it's something that's totally different and no one ever really thinks of. And like I said, I can go super deep in like long-term thinking, but I'm sure we will cover that a little bit later. But in a nutshell, that's kind of the whole NFT. I know we jumbled around like 90,000 different things, but that's pretty much what NFTs are. Like there's a million different things that you could do with NFTs, and it's all automatic because of the blockchain. And that's another discussion about the blockchain and how cool that is, with things automatically happening without anyone having to do anything, no middleman, stuff like that.
Right. But, and I get the blockchain. I have actually studied blockchain enough to understand why it's so good. I know that blockchain has issues at scale, but the great thing about an NFT is that it is one of a kind. And so you're not worried about scale as much as you are with say a financial transaction. So I get it. Okay, now what you just said there in the past 5 minutes, there's a lot to unpack there, but what it basically boils down to for me is that you are capitalizing on, how do I phrase this without sounding like a cranky old man? You're basically capitalizing on a moment in time of something amazing happening.
Right.
So the example you brought up, it's the finals in a war zone. It's a 1v3, and the person clutches it out. Okay, so maybe that clip is 45 seconds, a minute and a half, whatever. And you own the NFT from that streamer for that moment.
Yeah.
What is to prevent me, random person not owning the NFT, from going into that person's stream right after it happens and clipping it, which is happens all the time on Twitch. I clip it, and then I pull up the clip on my screen in front of me, and I record my screen, and I have the exact same clip. Now, I get that it isn't in the blockchain. I get, but this was one of the problems with baseball cards. Any idiot who had a couple $1 million could print up a set of baseball cards. And that ended up being the problem, is that the market got so saturated. Everybody had a special set of baseball cards with some exclusive, quote unquote. So me being fine, just call me a short-sighted old man here, but I definitely have a problem with the fact that my investment in that NFT for whatever I pay, $100, $500, $3, that investment could be severely undercut by a couple hundred smart people who go into that streamer's clips and steal it.
Yeah. So our NFTs are not just the video clip, right? It's not just that $100,000 win moment. It's an accumulation of a couple of different things.
Okay.
Another part of our NFTs, aside from rarity and all that stuff, is we have a streamer's badge. So the streamer's badge is also signed by them.
Okay.
It's like a digital signature, so it shows the actual act of him or her signing the badge. So the fan not only gets to own that moment, but it's also stamped or also officially it's like their official badge of the actual stream. So that's the second part that is very, very difficult to copy. Obviously, anything can be done and copied. And then brings up the more long-term aspect, which is rarity, which is scarcity. The different rarities that we have. If you think of a rookie card, is just think of a streamer having their very first NFT minted. It's the one of one. We call it the Genesis. It's like, if you think of CS:GO, I don't know how much you know about CS:GO, but it's obviously one of the biggest and best games in history of gaming.
Yep.
But their marketplace and their skins market, very similar concept of what we're doing, where the gold is the rarest one. If you unpack a gold knife in CS:GO, it's nearly impossible. It's like 0.0001% chance. But when you do, obviously those go for a lot more. Those are the most coveted skins in the game. It's the same thing with streamer moments. When you get to own these gold moments, and we probably aren't going to talk about too much of where we're taking this long term today, but because we're going to come up with our roadmap, and we'll have a whole announcement on that pretty soon. But just thinking short term, we're making these one-of-ones for the streamers. We're taking it really slow. There's a lot of different things that you could do with NFTs. There's a lot that goes behind these NFTs. But essentially, the gold moments, the one-of-ones, that has rarity. You can only own that one NFT in the entire world. And yes, people could technically copy it, but they're not going to be able to sell it on our marketplace. So if you see a fake, just think of a baseball card. The only way you're going to be able to buy that baseball card is on Topps.com. Now I'm no one's going to go on eBay, or if you buy a card on eBay, or you buy a card on, I don't know, any other random website, you run the risk of it not being legit or not being real.
Right.
And obviously, if somebody doesn't know how to go on the blockchain, make sure it's verifiable, make sure like the actual seller, the original minter, I guess minter. I don't know if that's the correct term. Our CTO is like great with all that. He deals with all of that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, so like if someone doesn't know how to do all that stuff and they end up buying something off of eBay,
right.
I mean, it's kind of one of those things where it's like lesson learned, I guess. You can't really stop that. The only way to stop that is obviously like tell people that this is where to buy NFTs. This is the only place you can buy our NFTs. This is the only place you can sell our NFTs. If you sell it on a different marketplace, technically you can't right now. I will say that things are being in the works where you can actually take it from one blockchain and put it on another blockchain.
Right.
But that is crazy technology, crazy things that are happening that beyond my brain. But yeah, so that's kind of our defense against people that are just copying what we're doing. Like I said, it's not just the simple clip; it is the actual like art. There's a whole different aspects to it.
So you're not just creating the NFT, but you're also creating the platform on which you can trade the NFT.
Right.
So so basically what you're doing is you're creating kind of a closed ecosystem, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then, and that to me makes more sense because I'm very skeptical of the internet in general.
Oh yeah, you should be. Everyone should be.
Everyone should be. You should doubt everything on the internet. Doubt it. Start from that point. Doubt it until it can be proven otherwise. And don't just take somebody's word and somebody's like their proof of this being true. Take your time. Do your diligence. Okay. So,
right.
All right. So, without getting too deep in the weeds, which we could, and I would actually love to have that conversation because I loved collecting baseball cards when I was a kid. I thought it was pretty awesome. And I can definitely see value in this. I can definitely see value in the point of, like you said, you're in a tournament, the streamer pulls off a 1v3, it's an amazing thing. And where it differs from a baseball card, which is static, and we could talk about some of the most popular baseball cards that people still seek this day, like 1987 Ripken. He is holding a bat like this, and on the knob of the bat was written bad words. But not only that, the card company was smart enough to put out different variations of the correction. So not only are you seeking the actual error where he has bad words on the end of his bat, but then they had a correction where it was covered up with a square. Then there was a correction where it was blurred out just in general. So that's a very static item. Whereas this, when you're talking about NFTs, you're talking about a verified video clip of a moment in time. Can be any length. Usually, I mean, humans have very, very short attention span, so the video clip is going to be pretty short. But you have an emotion. You're basically capturing an emotion, and then you are controlling the marketplace, which is vital to retaining value. The main reason the baseball card market dropped out of existence is that any idiot could make a baseball card set, and any idiot did make they did make a set of baseball cards. Right. So I definitely see value in the blockchain. You have your own blockchain. You control access. You cannot, change the blockchain without a very specific set of permissions that 99.99% of people will never have. So that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So if I'm a streamer and I come to you and like, you know what? I like this concept. What do I need to do to get in?
For streamers, it's pretty simple on our website. I mean, it's kind of at the bottom, but it's just a tab that says like interested streamer. Just click on that and you just put in all your information on our forum on our website. But for the most part, with the way that we are targeting streamers right now, obviously we would love to work with the bigger streamers. I mean, the bigger the clout, the bigger, the bigger the announcements and stuff.
Right.
Especially at the start, that's what we're working towards. But we understand that two things. One, the biggest streamers, like let's say Ninja, Doc, Courage, Tim, all those guys, I could pretty much, if they're not already doing it, I can't imagine it, but I'm
Right.
pretty sure they're all already having their own teams, making NFTs, making digital collectibles,
Right.
And making sure it's done the right way. For us, we understand that. So same with Upforce, we're focused on those middle groups. We're focused on the guys that are grinding 12, 14, 16 hours a day on their streams, working super hard just to try to grow, because that's kind of what you have to do these days, on Twitch and streaming. And so that's who we're really focused on, is helping those guys be able to make some extra income, make some extra money, to be able to do what they're doing and keep grinding, keep working, so they actually are making some money doing what they're doing. But at the same time, we're not going after the guys who are just starting out streaming. We're not going after anyone and everyone. We're going after specific streamers, specific games, specific because that brings up an entire other aspect, which is IP, copyright stuff,
Exactly.
that we can talk about later. But that's why what we're doing is very difficult and very, I guess, scary in a way. But yeah, it's going to be one of a kind. Where, like I said, we're not making just regular baseball, or we're not making like digital cards. We're not making anything like that. This is very, very thought out, like you said, about like controlling the marketplace and understanding that this needs to have long-term value. And this isn't just something that, I just bought a moment for $5 and then you just throw it away kind of thing. This is something that we really expect and want people to buy it, hold it, and then possibly sell it at a later date if they really want to. Like, imagine you buy a streamer's milestone for hitting 100 subscribers, and then 2 years from now they're at 10,000 subscribers on Twitch. Like, now they're like one of the biggest streamers. Like, imagine you own that, like their very first moment from when they were a small streamer, and how cool that would be to someone who is now just a new fan. They're like, man, I really want to be like one of the OG fans, and now they really want to buy that NFT from a couple years ago of that streamer. Just there's so many aspects. And what's so cool about gaming and streaming and the streamers communities is there's no communities out there like the streaming community. Like, the fans of the streamer are so unique that they, like I said, they will literally donate thousands of dollars to a streamer just to be noticed for 1 second. Like, now they're giving the opportunity to not only own a digital collectible from their favorite streamer and also support their favorite streamer at the same time. But now that digital collectible can even be an investment piece for them. So now it's not like they're losing $1,000 or a couple $1,000s. Now they can actually resell that later on if they wanted to, if they don't want to just collect it. So it's just, it's such a cool concept. And to me, it makes perfect sense. To the average person, it's going to take a little bit of time for the adoption. And that's why like I said before, like, that's pretty much the hardest part, is the overall adoption in the gaming community. And we have plans to attack that issue. But yeah.
Okay, so one little point you brought up there, we sort of glossed over it, but it's actually important. When you're talking about IP, when you're talking about a streamer who is in your marketplace, okay, you're obviously not going to be the only one doing this. This is sort of a two-pronged question. The first one, how do you maintain the exclusivity with the streamer? Is there a contract in place where you say we have all the rights to your streamer moments for the contract that they sign with you, whether that's 6 months, 12, 18, whatever. So what happens when that contract is up and the streamer's like, I'm going to leave this platform and I'm going to go to that one over there?
Yeah, so the whole idea with us is we want streamers to just make passive income. Like we want to make them money. Like that is our only goal, is really like not our only goal, but our main focus is in a nutshell, we want to help streamers be able to stream for the rest of their lives, like however long they want to, not really worry about money, not really worry about um, the whole financial aspect of it. Now, whether these could be just for charity, whether these could just be I mean, charity meaning like they can just write it off in their taxes, stuff like that. Like just bigger finance stuff than what the average person sees. That's kind of like what we're really focused on, is just helping them out as much as possible by making their NFTs for them and not having to do anything. Now the whole IP issue and the contracts with the streamers. I guess we'll go over the contracts with streamers first. Our legal team is currently like making those contracts for them. We had to deal with a whole lot in the last couple of weeks.
Right.
Barely gotten any sleep because of the whole IP and copyright issues.
Right.
But as far as them jumping on to another platform and creating NFTs, I honestly, at first, like I didn't really care too much. Like I think our NFTs will show themselves, and I think our product and our NFTs and the way that we've designed them and the way that we're actually constructing them to be a long-term project rather than just a quick money grab will be a lot better than any other project out there, just with the way that they're structured. So I'm not really concerned too much about them. There's another company out there that actually just started like last week, or maybe a little bit before, but I just heard of them last week.
Right.
And they're actually making, like you said, like cards, like
Right.
digital cards. It's not animated or anything like that. They're just like trading cards. So something like that, go for it. Like if you think that's a cool thing and you think your community would love that, go for it. So like we're not restricting them to work with, like, you can't work with anyone else in the NFT space
Okay.
because what if someday they really want to make their own and have their own team? Same thing with Upforest, where like one of our clients that we've worked with for a very long time, and they were super happy with everything, loved every minute of it. He's just like, listen, my CPA told me that I should just build an entire team and hire an entire team around it instead of outsourcing it. And I could hire my friends, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, dude, go for it. Like
Right.
that's the whole point. Like you want to create a business around your stream, like go for it. Like
Right.
that, if you have the resources and you understand what it takes and all that stuff, just absolutely go for it. So we're definitely not restricting streamers
Okay.
to only exclusively work with streamer moments. But we hope that our product and the results that they get from working with us will be good enough to not want to work with anyone, if that makes sense. Because we're going to be pumping
Right.
out these NFTs
Right.
on a more long-term scale. We're going to be pumping these bad boys out for like pretty much every week or every other week.
Right.
And whether those streamers are going to be a part of it or not that week, but they will constantly have NFTs produced. So it's not like they're going to be 3 months and there's no NFTs that are made and they haven't made money from them in 3 months. So
Okay.
so that kind of fixes that issue, I guess. But
Okay.
for the IP and copyright side, I could go on for
Right.
hours about this.
Right.
I was in one of my first meetings with a management agency for streamers. Their only concern, they loved everything. They're like, this is amazing. This sounds great. The only concern and major concern is the IP protection for the streamers. And I was like, I don't think there's any issues with the IP protection with streamers because obviously we're using their signature, we're
Right.
using their clip. We don't want people to use that clip and their signature and anything else in a different way. So obviously our terms and conditions between like the buyer and streamer moments, whenever anyone goes to buy a streamer moment, they have to accept the terms and conditions. Obviously
Right.
it says
Right.
like all that in there. And if they do, then we'll come after them like legally. It's like anything in this world.
Right.
So the IP of the streamer actually is not the issue at all. It's the only issue with that we've run across or came across is with the copyright issues with the actual game that the streamers are playing. So if
Okay.
you're playing Warzone, obviously the game of Warzone is playing in there, and Activision, or I guess it is Activision that owns the rights. So like if the game producer or a game publisher, they own the rights to that game. It's the same thing with Twitch. So there's a really weird fine line with the whole copyright issue with streaming in general as well. Twitch, it basically is one whole copyright infringement cluster. Like it's bad. Their entire business structure is copyright issue. Like it's bad. But no one's obviously going to fight it, because why would, if you're Call of Duty, why would you go after Twitch for millions of streamers streaming your game and making your game one of the biggest games ever? Like that will never happen. So it's kind of actually under the Fair Use Act.
Okay.
That's a whole other thing. And same with what we're doing.
Right.
It's something that's never been done before. Like no one's ever made NFTs of a video game. Now what we're doing, like we're not capturing the game. We're capturing the streamer, right? So like we're focused on the streamer's moment. We're focused on the streamer.
Right.
Maybe they got 10,000 subscribers and they were just so happened to be playing Call of Duty. Like it just so happened that they're playing the game, but it's not about the game. It's about the streamer. So it is actually under fair use. But we have made sure that with our legal team for weeks now, we're almost there, but we have pretty much ironclad everything, making sure the streamer is 100% protected no matter what. The company is protected. And we have plans for any legal issues that come up. We'll fight it, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So everything is really closely watched and made sure that everything is ironclad. But yes, we have gone through those issues, and I feel like that's where a lot of people won't do something that we're doing, because there are a lot of legal implications that go along with it. But it's worth it. It's definitely worth it.
Right. And it's okay. So us to clarify, when you're talking about fair use, one of the conditions of fair use revolves around transformational content. You're taking a moment of somebody else's stream, somebody else's content, and you're transforming it in a way that adds value to it. So a really good example is somebody does a reaction video on YouTube to somebody else's YouTube video. That's the same concept we were talking about. Okay. I still have a question about this, though. Not every relationship that you will have with a streamer will be good. That's just it. It's just some people don't mesh well in business, and that's fine. That's just how business is. How will you deal with the streamer that you have on the platform who then says maybe after 3 weeks, I don't want to be on your platform anymore, and all of the NFTs that were created while I was on your platform have to be taken down because I own the intellectual rights to my stream, to my product, and because our agreement is no longer valid, all of the NFTs that were created when I was on your platform have to be taken down.
So in the contract, they grant us the license to use their content and IP for everything that we're doing.
Okay.
So technically, if they do say enough, like I don't want to do this anymore, like I'm getting too much backlash or whatever the reason is,
right?
Those NFTs would still be on the blockchain. Those NFTs would still be minted.
Okay.
Okay. But obviously, we're not going to work with them further, so we're not going to create any more NFTs.
Right.
If it's a situation where obviously somebody bought the NFT, like you can't just magically poof, it's gone and forget about it because that person paid for it and they own the art piece. So
got it.
So that is one thing, but yeah, like basically it's all about licensing, and they grant us the license to be able to make the NFTs and use their clip, because the ownership of the clip itself in our NFTs, the streamers own their own content. They own the clip. But something that what we're doing is nothing different than putting on YouTube, like putting a video on YouTube, streaming their game. Like these YouTube channels that are taking content from these big streamers and all like their best moments and like highlights of like Fortnite highlights or something like that, of like all the best pro plays and all the best pro streamers hitting like insane clips of the day kind of thing.
Right.
This is no different, but it's a lot different because we actually have the right to do that. They don't. So it's the same concept. It's the same thing. We've come to the conclusion that they're like, it's honestly going to be fine. It's not going to be a big deal, but if it is down the road, then it'll end up just fighting it between parties, and then it'll be fair use. So it's like,
got it. All right.
Yeah.
So this is something that this issue crossed my mind, and it's one of the sore spots on Twitch right now with a lot of people. When you have streamers who run hot tub streams. Okay, now. This gets into a very gray, scary area, okay? And I don't want to cross the line with words, but I want to get to a point where we just say this out loud. How will you control? What is your plan for controlling the fact that this could turn into porn? I mean, seriously. I can see streamer moments that involve bathing suits that, shall we say, don't stay in place. Let's just say that. Bathing suits that don't stay in place. How's that?
No, literally. I mean, so when I first looked into NFTs and really started, like, someone like me, I like to see, like, alarm bells go off. Like when I see something and I'm like, oh my God, like this is going to be a great thing in the future. Like, or something like for us, it's like, oh my gosh, like we can merge the streaming community with NFTs and really provide something for their fans to be able to collect something instead of just donating or subbing or something.
Right.
So that same thing with the whole porn industry. It's like, wow, you can sell an exclusive piece of video clip to somebody that they're the only ones that can own it.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, that is 100% going to happen. Like it is 100% going to happen.
It is going to happen. Yes.
But it's the same concept. Like on these open marketplaces, I really don't like these open marketplaces. I understand why these open marketplaces are a thing. It's because there's not enough like exclusive companies that make the NFTs or certain NFTs. So if you're going to be an artist or something, then your art is going to be on those open marketplaces because there's a lot more eyes. But if you're a company, say a pornography company, and you're making all these NFTs of these people, you're going to have your own site. You're going to have your own way of people buying it. It's not, or your own marketplace. It's not going to be merged in with anything else. So it is going to happen, but that's going to be a separate thing. Now, as far as streamer moments with hot tub streamers and all that stuff, first of all, get the hot tub streams out of here. That stuff is not for me. It's not on Twitch. I don't.
Thank you.
I actually was like, I've heard about it. I've obviously everyone I know the stink of it for the last like month or two. But then I was like just browsing through Twitch the other day, and I'm like, screw it, like let's just go look at it. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, there's no chance. How is that on Twitch? There's no way.
Right.
So yeah, as far as streamer moments, we choose what content is in our moments. Like we're not just taking anybody.
Good.
But I will say that has crossed our mind. Like imagine like I guarantee you there's going to be a company that rolls around and it's going to be all about the streamers who are bending over by accident. It's just going to like some guy's going to be able to own that. Like
by accident,
it's gonna happen. It will happen. And it'll be that's a cash grab. That's something that's like 100% you're here for the short term. That's not a long-term project. A lot of NFT projects, I would say 95% of them are going to be short-term projects.
Okay. Got it.
I really hope that these companies that are making NFTs understand that. Our marketplace and our blockchain that we're partnered with, they really stress like this is a long-term project. NFTs are here to stay, but it's in a bubble. It's going to burst, and a lot of companies are going to go under because they don't have that long-term vision, that long-term plan. So that's what we're really focused on. And one thing that I actually didn't bring up that I think is like super valuable for people to understand and see kind of like the future of where things are going. One thing I've always said I've said this for probably 3-4 years now, is virtual reality is going to be a lot of people's reality in like five years. I would say 5 years, like that quick. Maybe 5-10 years, definitely 10 years. 5 years probably is when it's going to happen. But virtual reality is going to be people's reality. I'm going to be able to, and COVID speaks volumes to that. I'm going to be able to go to your house and you live 2,000 miles away. I'm going to be able to go to your house in virtual reality,
right,
your virtual house, and hang out with you, talk to you, interact with you, like play games, do whatever. And I'm sitting in my own living room, like, and you're sitting in your living room. And that is the reality of where things are going. And that's why NFTs are so freaking cool, because these NFTs are going to be in your showcase. Like, imagine you're going to be able to use these or put these NFTs like in your house, in your virtual house. And I think that's super cool.
Yep.
Another cool thing, you're going to like imagine what our walls, like what our house is going to look like in 5 to 10 years with all the technology that's coming out. Like our walls internally could all be digital. Like we could have random like digital things like on our wall. Like I'm just looking at a plain white wall. Like this whole thing could be an entire digital art space. Like this, like you could be featuring your entire collection of all your NFTs. And when people come over into your house and they go to your man cave or something, like just imagine how cool that would look if you feature like all your $100,000 collection of NFTs. Like that's something that is going to happen, and that's going to be years down the road. But yeah, the whole virtual reality thing, it's a scary one. That's another thing I could talk about for a long time. But but people are going to live in a virtual reality world, and because they want to escape this world.
Well, and there are many Twitch channels where you have people that so the person exists, but they're wearing a virtual reality skin. They're called VTubers.
Yeah,
and that is a rising trend right now, and I like it. So I do have to say, I've been listening to you now talk for about 45 minutes, and we've been talking about NFTs, and we've talking about plans, we're talking about what it means to be in this space for longer than 5 minutes, which I'm hearing everything you're saying, and that's your plan. So it just seems like to me, and this is not a slight on anybody, but this is the observation of somebody who has seen a lot over time. I existed before the internet. I know there were people alive before the internet existed, as strange as that sounds. But what it really sounds like NFTs are about is you're capitalizing on the fear of missing out. And now people can capture that moment and capture that feeling and then extract value from it.
So what's weird about the world we live in right now, I mean, I've only been here for 25 years, so it's kind of crazy to think that like it's happened this fast, but like things are moving so fast. Like, and I don't know how it was like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, but I mean, just in the last 5 years, just think of, I mean, I said this last year or the year before, like, just think of from an investing perspective. Like, if the average person 10 years ago, they didn't know how to invest in a stock. They didn't know how to invest in a company. Now you have random ass people buying Dogecoin and it just goes to the moon, right? Like, and people become millionaires because of this stupid thing, and it's not a real thing. Same thing with GameStop. Like, just the amount of people and the how fast things like word travels and information travels. Like Joe Schmo, just everyone knows how to invest in a stock now. Everyone knows that it's very important to put your money away, to invest, to save. And so there's a huge trend, and we're gonna have teenage CEOs. Like, we're gonna have of big companies. Like, it's going to happen. And that's going to be the norm very soon. So things move super fast. And something like NFTs, same thing, where it's like it could move super fast too. And we could already see things in a virtual reality world tomorrow. And so it's super scary, but at the same time, it is pretty cool. But from a business perspective, it's very hard to contend with. Someone like me, I love to just go 100 miles an hour every single time. Like, as soon as I get into something, it's like, okay, I have this date. I want to be 100% ready. Website done. Everything done. Business done. Like, literally everything is 100% ready on this date. And I set that date for myself and for the business and we hit it. But then you come into the roadblocks and some hurdles, and you're like, okay, now you have IP issues, now you have copyright issues, now you have this and that, and so that's where it gets a little bit difficult when you're going 100 miles an hour. And then you kind of take a step back and you're like, okay, just relax. It's okay if it's not ready right now. Like, it'll be ready in a week, something like that. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool how fast things are going.
Well, I do have to say, Nick, and after this conversation, I am still skeptical. I am still skeptical because I have the perspective that of, like I said, baseball cards and comics. And like you said it about 10 minutes ago. You said when you partner with this partner with the blockchain company, they're like, look, this is long term. This is going to take time. We're in a bubble. We are definitely 100% in a bubble right now. It's going to burst. It's going to burst, just like the comic book market did when you went from people going to their comic book shops to buy physical copies, and now you can buy the digital copies online as well. That was a whole industry shift. There will be industry shifts in this market as well. I'm still skeptical because humans get behind the next shiny thing and they pump the crap out of it. For example, Dogecoin. Dogecoin is a meme. Dogecoin doesn't. I am immensely skeptical of crypto. I think there's only two that are worth holding: Bitcoin and Ethereum. Everything else is junk, as far as I'm concerned. And people can say, "Oh, I have my own blockchain." I can make a blockchain right now.
Yeah.
I can make a blockchain right now. I have enough brains, or I can pull out my own MacBook. I can find 2 videos on YouTube, and I can make a blockchain. It's not this magical thing. Anyway, I do have to say though, Nick, I appreciate your time because you have opened my eyes to some things. I'm still skeptical, probably because 90% of people on the internet I don't trust.
Yeah, and also you're not going to spend thousands of dollars on something that you don't know is going to be a thing
Exactly.
in a couple years, and I totally get that. So just to give you some sort of insight on kind of what we're doing,
Sure.
the Genesis NFTs, like the one of ones, we understand that those are probably not going to be bought by the streamers' fans. Like, obviously the streamers' fans, like, how are you going to have thousands of dollars laying around just to buy an NFT? Like you said, like might not be something later down the road. So obviously, like the one of ones, the very first NFTs that we're making for all the streamers, like those are essentially going to be bought by crypto and NFT collectors, like the people that really believe in it, really see the value in it, and understand what we're doing. So that's not our goal. Our goal is to merge the gaming community, streamers community with crypto and NFTs and put them together. So our medium long-term plan is like we're going to be making an entire system that includes like one of 100s, one of 1,000, one of 10,000.
Got it.
And not only are you going to be able to buy those cheaper NFTs because there's 10,000 of them available, and you can still support your favorite streamer. You can still own specific moments that are super cool, but there's just more of them. You're going to be able, there's a whole game within the game. You're going to be able to collect, if you own 5 moments, you can trade them in for one secret moment or something that's like it's very in depth and very fun. And like I said, once you go down the rabbit hole and you understand kind of what we're doing long term, how we're making the market, like making sure the marketplace happens and does well and actually is a long-term thing. It's super, super cool and exciting.
Yeah, it is. I agree.
And if you think of CSGO and you think of just other NFT projects, it's kind of like we're the baby of that. Like we are pretty much the same thing, but the best of both worlds, gaming and NFTs. So,
and I, like I said, I trust what you're doing because you're not only creating the NFT, but you're creating the platform on which you can trade it. So you control the front end and the back end, and that is something that will definitely engender a lot of trust down the road. Is that, look, we own the entire ecosystem. We're not just making the NFTs for like 2 or 3 platforms. We own the entire ecosystem, and that will be very valuable going forward. So,
Yep.
so aside from what you're working on here, are there any secret projects that you're working on for Hup Force, or anything else that you can't tell me about?
I gotta slow down on these secret projects. It's been crazy the last couple months.
Right.
But no, for Upforce, I've honestly kind of I've been super focused on streamer moments. So Upforce has been more as more of a stagnant stage where
Right.
we've been happy with the streamers we're working with, and everything's been going good. We just haven't really been focused on growing it too much. Now I'm kind of shifting that focus to both and putting the necessary time that needs for the actual stream, or for Upforce to grow and continue to be to do well for the streamers. Obviously that's the number one priority, is to focus just on the streamers that we had, to be able to devote the time that's necessary to make sure that they're growing, their content's really good, and everything is going well, and we're keeping up with the trends. That's why I didn't really want to focus on growing streamer moment or Upforce, because of the fact that I had to spend so much time on streamer moments. I didn't want to add that extra time of onboarding new streamers and making sure get everything right, because it does take a couple weeks to make those things a little bit more automated. But yeah, so secret projects, no secret projects right now.
Well, I
need to relax.
I'm sure that your wife is happy that you don't have any special secret projects going.
Yes.
Don't forget to take care of that super extra special secret project, because I have the feeling that she has been extremely supportive this whole entire time, and you're a very fortunate man.
Yes, very, but you got to have a really good balance.
Good. So Nick, thank you very much for making time for me. So if people want to find streamer moments, how do they do that?
Twitter, it's streamer NFT at streamer NFT. Same thing with Instagram, streamer_NFT. Streamermoments.com. Check us out. We got a lot of super cool projects coming. You can check out our little commercial that kind of explains what we're doing. We have our about section, streamers, releases, frequent asked questions. If you need anything, if you need to know anything or understand things further of what we're doing, please reach out to me at Nick Frankich on Twitter. And yeah.
All righty. Thanks, Nick. Yes, you can see on the overlay right there at streamer NFT on Twitter, streamermoments.com. I'll be sure to put all of the links in the description below. Nick, you're awesome. Thank you very much for making time for me, man.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
You got it. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Please do like, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I enjoy doing these. I have great people on here like Nick who are way smarter than me. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you for tuning in today. You can find links to everyone on the show in the description below. Check out Bill the Conqueror on Twitch and Twitter to stay up to date on his thoughts and ideas about gaming culture.